So you took my first line. I'm Eric. I'm Kate's dad. Hey, just thanks for everybody. I'm going to have to look at my notes now, right? So I want to thank everybody for coming out. A lot of people have come from a long ways away. We really appreciate it. I know Kate and Keaton really appreciate it as well. We got some rules. If you come to our house, you get the rule talk, right? You guys remember the rules? What do you got to do? You got to relax. Everybody here's got to relax tonight. Really, you do. Eat and drink as you want, and just have a really great time, all right? So with that, off to Garth.
Thank you, Eric. Would you all join me in blessing Keaton and Kate? So, God, we are grateful to be together tonight. I just ask that you would bless Keaton and bless Kate and bless their marriage. We are so thankful for your goodness, for the kindness, for the families that are represented in this room, for all the relationships that you've brought into their life. As I see all these friends and these families, the relationships, the past, the futures, I'm just so grateful. And so, Lord, we bless them and we speak life and joy and peace and mercy and goodness on their marriage. And it's in your name we pray. Amen.
All right, so I'm going to have to read this tonight. So any pauses, I'll take some pauses if somebody's misty, because it won't be me, right? So bear with me. All right, time for a toast. I know we only have a couple hours, so I'll try to get us out of here on time. That was fake. No, it's been a real treat reflecting on the time leading up to this special day. One might even say worth $1 million. Nicknames and dadisms are big at our house, so keep that in mind as I share a few thoughts on the phases of Catherine. Phase 1, the baby Kate years, she spent a lot of time with her mom. She was cautious. She was slow to warm up to people and to new situations. Her facial expressions always confirmed her distrust of boys, except for Jacob. Phase 2, the early years of Katie. The first day of school interview videos started during this time. So to explain the first day of video, that's a video from our house to school while we're driving. So it was always exciting. Every year, we would recap the summer that we just had. We'd think about the coming year. Stop. She was a diligent rule follower. A class infraction or a discipline was a big deal. She respected our school is the gateway to life mantra. Her attention to detail, I think we heard some of that before. Do you want to know how every kid in my class holds their pencil? She and Olivia would have mommy puppy spas seemingly every weekend. And the puppies were stuffed puppies. Yeah. What else? Her confidence increased and her competitiveness accelerated. For the record, I beat her in our last tennis match. She was 9. Phase 3, the secondary school years of Katie. I'll characterize this with don't let anyone suggest you're anything less than spectacular. She developed her own opinions during this time. She might challenge my actions, possibly how I drove. So this would lead to a do as I say, not as I do. What else? The other thing that would happen during this time is just because you can drive to school doesn't mean you can't have that video on the first day of school, right? You can use a series of phones, FaceTime, and tape it all. It works. But sometimes she might get a little bit tired of that. In many situations, competitive and otherwise, we would say, kick butt, have fun. Other times, a you rock gesture from afar would be answered with what? A subtle head nod. This is a you rock. What else? Sorry for that, a little bit out of sorts here. She began to fully appreciate friendships and understand her potential to influence others. From sports teams to school activities, she became a caring, compassionate teammate. And she began to own her faith. Phase 4 is a young adult Kate. Her early years started to manifest themselves. Her rule following became leading and defending. She does have some inner control freak tendencies. Specific details, always important to her. A FaceTime call or a recap of an event is always really good. It's just like being there. She also began to recognize and appreciate positive traits and actions of friends and mentors. A group like this is her social media. All right, now a few words for the other important person today, Keaton. Other than the obvious, right? He's personable, he's good looking. I think it's okay for a man to say that about another man. He has a passion to achieve. He shares common goals and themes with Kate. Faith and trust in God. Friendships are important, and a drive to succeed. A couple of fond memories of Keaton. During the third visit to our house, he hugged me and avoided my socially distanced handshake. I knew he and Kate were of kindred spirits, and this was before socially distanced was a thing. Family can verify that. On the day he drove 5 hours to request our blessing for Kate's hand in marriage, he was relaxed and calm. While the request came in the first few minutes after arrival, his perseverance was tested as the answer came 3 hours later. Another one, Kate's brother Jacob, he liked Keaton from day one. That's a big statement, right? So, yeah. And finally, really, we're super excited to have you part of our team. We really are, so. All right, so today we're all here to witness the next phase of Kate. That's Kate Shinn. For the record, I want to continue that first day video tradition. Flatly rejected. But we'll let her go. So to you, Keaton, I believe you'll see the following from Kate: a caring, faithful partner and a trusted teammate. She'll support you, but she'll also hold you accountable. Today, the look in her face confirms her trust in you and the joy that you bring to her. And while we both think, technical problem, sorry. While we both think she's spectacular, you are going to have to challenge her and question her from time to time. And she doesn't necessarily like that. I'm sorry here, lost my... Some awkward silence. You're welcome. So, Keaton and Kate, for you as a couple, we have a few wishes for you. That you would nurture your relationship, support one another's dreams and goals, develop your definition of fun, continue to cultivate friendships and relationships, and recognize the influence you have and the shadow you cast. And always remember the things that make you laugh. This is a special day, so let's shoot the rail. Kick butt, have fun.
And now, friends and family, for the next speech, we have the Maid of Honor, Olivia King. So let's give it up for Olivia, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Before I start, I just want to get a round of applause, not only for the couple, but for everyone that worked so hard to make today so special for them. So for those of you I haven't met, and there's a lot of you tonight, I'm Olivia, and I met Katie when I was the brand new kid in second grade. My family had just moved to Rockford, Illinois. And as the new kid, Katie was assigned to be my buddy and show me the ropes of my new school. Some would say she was forced to be my friend, but lucky for me, something just stuck. The second I met Katie, I knew I wanted to be her friend. She radiated kindness, humor, and grace. I saw the way she treated others and made me feel so welcome and loved, and remember feeling so lucky to have her as my first friend at my new school. It very much speaks to her character that one of the first memories I have of her was her handing me a pencil to borrow on the first day of school. I forgot mine, which also very much speaks to my character. We instantly clicked, and soon enough we are playing Puppy Spa, as mentioned by Eric, and House for hours in her bedroom, and eating frozen pizza or chocolate chip pancakes after a classic Katie and Olivia sleepover. Next, we are watching TLC, spending way too long getting ready for high school football games, spending years on swim team together, and I was even reminded not too long ago that Katie sat in the movie theaters with me and went on my first date with me. So she's a really good friend for that. And finally, we were driving around having our special Rockford days, shopping at the Art Deli, exploring different coffee shops downtown, and eventually standing by each other in our caps and gowns during high school graduation. College came quickly, and it was the first time we wouldn't be 2 miles away from each other. But even being over 500 miles away from each other, our friendship always stayed our number one priority. It was really hard to put our friendship and years' worth of memories into words for this speech. To name all of the times that Katie's made me cry from laughing so hard, calmed my nerves at swim meets and before big speeches, and all the times she's been my voice of reason, we would be up here all night. We've both been through a lot in the last 15 years, but Katie's always remained my constant, no matter what's going on in either of our lives. So fast forward to January 11th, 2018, when I got a text from Katie saying, "Are you awake? ... I just got asked on a date by this guy named Keaton." And the rest is history. I'm assuming that date went okay. I mostly watched your relationship grow and bloom from afar, but it's been so encouraging to see your journey to where we stand today, especially seeing it through mostly Katie's lens. But I eventually got to meet Keaton, and it was easy to see their instant connection within seconds of seeing them together. Keaton, you make Katie so incredibly happy. You have all of the qualities Katie's been praying for in her forever partner. I'm so happy she's found such a beautiful heart that matches her own. You're intentional, caring, and I love how much you love Katie. You'll be an incredible husband to her, and Katie, you'll be such an incredible wife. Having Katie in your life means that you'll always have a personal cheerleader, pep talk giver, a helping hand, a listening ear, and a shoulder to cry on. I can't even count the amount of times she's been all of those things for me. She'll also provide some good laughs along the way. I couldn't be more honored to share this special day with you both, as the love you've created is so beautiful. I can't wait to see the life you two will build together, and I'm so lucky to share my best friend with such an incredible man, and even happier that now she gets to be the constant in your life too. I wish you two all the best this world has to offer and a lifetime of happiness and memories. Know I will always be here for you both in the good and the bad times. If your marriage is anything like our friendship, it will last a lifetime and then some. So cheers to Mr. and Mrs. Shinn.
All right. Hello, everybody. I'm super thankful for today. I'm grateful that both Keaton and Kate are part of my life, that I was able to be part of it. So thank you guys. But yeah, like you said, my name is Nate. I've known Keaton for probably about almost 20 years now, which, like, thinking about that number is kind of crazy. And coming into today, I was informed that I am the best of all the men. So I don't know who said it, but here we are. I'm just kidding. Kate told me that. So yeah, a little bit of backstory. I met Keat at a block party, about 20 years ago. So I grew up 2 houses down from Keat's grandparents, and next door to that, Connor, who is another one of the groomsmen, was his grandparents lived there. So it was like this little, maybe demonic trio. I like to think we were pretty cool and pretty fun, but I actually met him holding a Power Rangers action figure, and I've been informed that Keat and Connor, they came and met me, and then they left that meeting and be like, that kid's weird, we don't need to ever see him again. So, but here we are, 20 years later. But we have shared a ton of really awesome memories since we were about 6 years old. We learned a lot together, and I was thinking of all the memories that kind of came flooding back as we've been up here at the lake. And a couple that we learned how to play golf up here. If you know Keat, he loves golf. It's a sport that he loves, and I love it too. So we learned how to play shag, which was taught to us from Keat's Nana and Papa. And we even had special attire for our shag nights. To name a few, I'll just give you a couple examples. We had a red leather studded vest. We had a hard hat. We had a Gumby costume. If you guys know about Gumby, it's like this big celery guy, basically, and it's really weird. But we had that, and then we had a bunch of really odd, kind of Ozzy Osbourne style sunglasses, and it was just kind of funny. We learned also about the glories of capitalism from Dwayne. He's told this story last night at the rehearsal dinner, so you might be hearing it again. But basically, Keat and Connor and I, we loved to tube. Basically, anytime we would be like, "Hey, Papa, can we go tubing? Will you take us out?" It could be like super windy, white caps, and we would go out. But this was during the years of grass being super expensive, and all of a sudden, Dwayne's like, "Here's the deal. This is getting expensive, so we're going to make you work for earn money for gas." And we quickly learned we didn't love tubing as much as we thought we did. We were a little bit more selective on when we would go, but hey, we learned how to push, how to leverage our labor for profit, that's for sure. But hearing everything about Keat this weekend, being back up the lake, everybody has kind of been surprised to hear that Keat is like this goofy guy. They're all like, "Oh, man, Keat's just like, he's just so nice and kind. There's nothing really, I don't see the goofy side of him." I think you're wrong. And I have one story that I do want to tell, because I don't think that he is this knight in shining armor that we think. I think he is the man who murdered Mr. Twinkie. And I need to tell you this story. So let me set the stage here for this story. It was a cool summer's day up at the lake. You just imagine this. Close your eyes if you have to, but the water is come crashing on the shores. It's kind of the day when the rocks on the shore, when you touch them, they're a little bit cool to the touch. Yeah. So we thought, as we were probably like 10 or 12 years old, it would be a great idea to start throwing some of these rocks at birds, because this was the time of year when swallows make their nests, and the most common place that they make them are under the awnings of boat lifts. So being at the lake, they'd be jutting out back and forth from dock to dock, and we'd just be throwing rocks at them. We thought it was some great idea. Probably not the greatest idea. But we were probably going for 15, 20 minutes, Connor, Keaton, and I just chucking rocks at birds flying across, being weird kids, and all of a sudden we hear this scream from Keaton. And Connor and I both look over, and he's like throwing this rock at this one bird that decided after 15 minutes of having rocks thrown at him, "Oh, I'm just gonna go and like buzz this dude, like really, really low." So Keat like screams as he sees the one coming, throws a rock, and actually hits this bird. And we found out because it couldn't fly away, it broke the wing of this bird. So it's pretty tragic. So we had to deliberate. What do we do next? Man, this bird, it's not flying away. It's just kind of hopped over in the corner here. We talked to, I'm sure Nana and Papa were in on this too. We're deliberating, what do we do? And we decided we had to put it out of its misery. And so we got this much larger rock than the rocks that we had been throwing at the birds. And I'll try to keep this speech a little PG. I'll let you imagine what that meant, but needless to say, in an unrelated incident, later on that day, we had a funeral for a bird. And really what I've noticed, honestly, and I think there is a sweetness to Keat, if you know him, I noticed a lot in this funeral. He just was so empathetic. He decorated this shoebox that turned into the casket. He dug the hole, and then we buried this bird. And after it was done, Keat was like, "Man, I think this bird needs a name." So the name that we ended up coming up with and landing on was Mr. Twinkie. So Keaton, the murderer of Mr. Twinkie, is showing all this empathy. And this is actually a true story. If you guys do end up finding yourself at Nana and Papa's lake house, at the top of the hill going down to the lake, you can see there's a board nailed to the birch tree that says, "Mr. Twinkie, comma, good bird." But so I think the reason I tell a story, there is some kind of cool correlations that I see in the life of Keaton. And I'm not stretching for this at all. These are super legit. But first one, just like the rocks that were cool to the touch on this summer day, Keaton is a stone cold killer. And not only the little rocks, but also the big rocks. Because when you find yourself in a situation that you just have a hard time feeling like, man, can I get through this? He's also a much larger rock. He's just a solid, steadfast rock that will get the job done in time of need. In this case, that rock had to, But also, on a more serious note, I see Keaton as this man who seeks to right wrongs. And the context that I see this in marriage is in the process of sanctification. I've seen sweet patterns in Keith's life of when sin or hardship has come, he's repentant and seeks to be sanctified to become more like Christ. And I think that's awesome. And he's just a man of immense empathy, and you could see it in the story about Mr. Twinkie, the good bird. He was empathetic, and in this case, it was empathetic in suffering, but he's walked with me in a ton of times of hurting, of rejoicing. He stood next to me in my wedding and has really loved me and my family well, even as we've grown. So one passage of scripture that it made me think of, just the honorable man that Keaton is. I thought of Romans 13, verse 7. It says, "Pay to all what is owed to them, taxes to whom taxes are owed, revenue to whom revenue is owed, respect to whom respect is owed, honor to whom honor is owed." So, I hope you feel really honored today because you are a man of integrity, and I just so appreciate you in my life, and I know that Kate is going to do a really amazing job honoring you. And on that note, I do want to address you too, Kate. I've just been so thankful for you and seeing your integrity as well. Just like a woman who walks with the Lord in a really sweet way. I'm just so thankful for that. And you guys have had like really hard seasons, and being one of Keith's best friends, like walking through that with him. Obviously, I'm going to have his back 100%, but I think a testament to you, Kate, is like as he's walking through these hard seasons of making decisions for you guys' relationship even, I'm in the back of my mind, I'm like, man, I don't want to lose Kate as a friend either. So I so appreciate both of you. I love you guys a lot. And I'm excited to walk with you guys in marriage. So cheers to the bride and the groom.
And now, friends and family, last but definitely not least, we have a thank you from the bride and groom. So can we please hear it for Mr. and Mrs. Keaton and Kate Shinn.
Hi, all. I'd just like to affirm what Nate is saying. We do feel extremely honored that you are all here, that you traveled far, and decided to walk with us through the ceremony and the beginning of this new relationship as we start this new family. So we're just so thankful for everyone in this room. We're looking forward to having a little fun on the dance floor tonight, all right? All right, so I think we're going to move into dancing, yeah? Let's go.
Let's hear it for the bride and groom, everyone, and everyone else who gave speeches tonight.